PMS? Is this PMS?
This piece is about this weird feeling I get when I don't have something to hold on to, and I think it's a common feeling to have. As humans, we get attached to things and our ego doesn't like to feel out of control. Even if the thing I'm attached to is actually bad for me, the fear of having nothing to hold on to feels so strong. The further we are away from the controlling hands, the closer we are to our true nature. I just cannot believe that the timing of that, it was definitely orchestrated by the universe.
Let's see. Okay.
Setting up is a fucking pain in my ass.
Where's a little tubby? Is my head gonna be in the way? My head's gonna be like there, whatever. Sit up straight. Sit up straight.
This piece is about this weird feeling I get when I don't have something to hold on to, and I think it's a common feeling to have. As humans, we get attached to things and our ego doesn't like to feel out of control.
I don't fucking care. No, it's up to here. Look. It's up here. It's here and here. It's too small.
These things that we are attached to could be things like labels, or what we think our identity is, people, places, the feeling of being in control, or even certain habits or beliefs. Sometimes they are things that are actually negative or destructive to us. Sometimes when a part of my identity, like work or fitness, is taken away from me, I feel consumed by this terror caused by the nothingness I feel.
Oh, I'm a pain, for fuck's sake! Ah! Is this PMS? Is this PMS? No! It's abstract, Simone. It's abstract. Ah! I keep splatting my legs. How the f*** did you get out of here? That's what you call too much yellow. Oh, I love it! I love it! Oh my goodness, it's that time already?
Even if the thing I'm attached to is actually bad for me, the fear of having nothing to hold on to feels so strong. The ironic thing I've learned throughout my spiritual journey is that we actually need space and nothingness to foster opportunities and growth. And when you stop trying to control and let yourself be in the nothingness, it brings this feeling of deep peace and joy. If you know of Eckhart Tolle, who wrote The Power of Now, and Dr. Joe Dispenza, you will know that they both address the nothingness and unknown and its power. The hands here represent the feeling of wanting to be in control and the sheer desperation to hold on to something, anything. Some of the hands are a bit warped to emphasize this destructive codependence on ideas and parts of our identity.
Did you know that I was going to do this? You didn't! Nobody knew! Get me a little Gollum on the floor.
There are many different hands because sometimes it feels like the ego, the part that wants to stay in control, is almost like a demon that keeps growing heads every time you cut one of them off. The ego sneaks into your thought process in such sneaky and subtle ways that it can be hard to stop.
Got a cup of ginger and honey tea. Good for your health.
I convey the frantic grasping by having the hands face different directions, grabbing in distinct ways. The background shows glitching effects that try to illustrate how technology can often feed the ego monster. Things like social media can make us very self-obsessed and, again, make us focus on our identity and how we are portrayed to the world. It's a handy distraction from the fact that we are all one, and our identities are a hologram and a life game.
Ah, that was so close!
The glitching conveys a malfunctioning in the same way that if we only focus on our ego and the self, we ultimately self-destruct. The glitching and hands are two separate elements because I wanted themes of nature versus machine to be felt. On top of the glitching is a layer of yellow splashes. The feeling I feel when I start to let go of my identity and control feels like these splashes. They are organic, free, and expansive. The splashes get less dense near the top of the painting to communicate a deeper disintegrating into energy and surrender. The further we are away from the controlling hands, the closer we are to our true nature. Letting go is scary, but I feel so liberated and joyful whenever I let go of the fear around it. It is the most amazing feeling. The bright and light yellow embodies this feeling. Recently in my life, I've been trying to let go and surrender more. I've been letting go of control of my life circumstances and certain parts of my identity that I was holding on to purely because they felt familiar.
I think we need a little bit of cadmium red. Cadmium. Oh, too much. Balls to the walls.
Let me give you some examples. For the past 7 years, I've been in different teaching roles. This life role was always temporary on my journey to becoming a full-time artist. Lately, I've taken a huge step back from this particular role. Even though I knew this wasn't my core purpose, after 7 years of doing it, I have felt confusion, disorientation, and sadness when letting go of this role.
My head's gonna be right in front of that, isn't it? Let's have a look. This is what happens when you're an impatient painter. What the f***? What the f*** is going on here?
I've also always been someone who has always told themselves that I will always make just a little more money than what I need to live a comfortable life, and that I would never have nice, expensive things.
I ate too much!
I didn't realize this was such a huge part of my identity, which was programmed when I was younger. and that it isn't necessarily true and certainly doesn't always have to be true. Yet I'm having extreme resistance in disassociating with this lack of abundance mindset. I've surrendered a lot in my life circumstances too. I'm currently in the unknown about my next job, and it is very scary. But the universe always rewards me when I'm brave and when I show it that I know everything will be okay. An example of the universe pushing me into a circumstance that I was supposed to be in is, so when I first arrived in Vietnam, I had 3 job offers after a couple of weeks of finding job. One of them was kindergarten, but there was no promise of a work permit, etc. One of them was kindergarten, visa, work permit, etc. And one of them was in primary school, quite well paid and near where I was living. Because I was more used to teaching younger students, I picked one of the kindergartens, but I found out they weren't really honest about the location of the job. So after signing the contract, I was in a bit of a dilemma. Should I quit the job or should I move closer to the job? I didn't really want to do that. And all this time, the clock is ticking because my tourist visa that I arrived on is gonna run out soon. So I'm really stressed out, I'm in this dilemma, and then I meet an old colleague and friend in a cafe and I tell him about all these stresses.
Oh, not low battery, god damn it. Here's a banger alert. Was this worth it? Was all of this worth it? My purpose. What is my purpose? That's a good question.
And then at the end of our conversation, a man comes up to him who knows him and recognizes him. And we get talking about my situation. It turns out this man works for the primary school that I turned down. Not only that, this primary school has multiple campuses over the city and different subjects taught.
Yellow, you're so annoying, Yellow. Burn. Mega burn.
This particular man was covering the classes that I had turned down.
Let's go top up me tea. Top up me tea. Can he do it? Can he do it today? I was doing it before. I'm hungry. It's good.
What are the chances of that? So after having this conversation with him and feeling like if I walked out of this cafe and didn't try and get this job again, I would get struck by lightning because the universe would be so angry at me. So I called up the job and they decided to give me a second chance and let me take that job. And that job was exactly what I needed for the last 2 years. And I just cannot believe that the timing of that, it was definitely orchestrated by the universe, and I didn't really have to do anything apart from meet up with my friend and be open. So yeah, that's just a little example of how the universe always has your back, and sometimes trying to like micromanage your life actually is you getting in your own way. So maybe you can see how by holding on to certain parts of our identity or controlling things too much in our life, we might actually be self-sabotaging or delaying what is truly meant for us. It's time for our We're Not Really Strangers card. So let's go again. level 2. Mix them up. Okay, pick your card. This one I'm scared. Why am I scared? When was the last time you surprised yourself? When was the last time you surprised yourself? Let me think about that. Instrumental. So I think that the last time that I surprised myself was probably on Sunday when I had like a kind of, not an interview, but like a talk about a job. And before I went to it, I wasn't really feeling great, and I was like, I'm probably not gonna be like making the conversation and the atmosphere nice, because I just didn't really feel like super sociable. Yeah, I just felt a bit down. But then when I got there, I was like blah 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 blah, and yeah, it seemed like I was received well. I was surprised because I just kind of like switched on this like sociable me, even though right before that I didn't feel sociable at all. So that's kind of the boring answer. Let me give some examples of more exciting things. In the past year or 2 years, 1 year, a year and a bit, my biggest fear is public speaking. And for the like last 2 graduations at my old school, I did public speaking. I was like the MC, so I had to like introduce things in front of an audience, and I also had to write a speech and say that in front of an audience, and that's pretty crazy because that is my biggest fear, but I did it anyway, so that kind of surprised me. You know, just like running my workshops, I never thought I would do that. Living abroad, I never thought I would do that. I'm full of surprises. Starting a YouTube, I never thought I would do that. Yeah, and more recently, just like little things like in situations where I used to just get super triggered and react because I've like been meditating and doing a lot of self-development. Just the situation arises, I get triggered, and instead of just like reacting, I'm like, why am I getting triggered right now? And there's a little bit more space between me and the reaction, or a little bit more understanding. So that's kind of surprising too. Yeah, so I think you should answer this too. When was the last time you surprised yourself? It can be something big or small, whatever you want. Share in the comments. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please like it. Write your answer to that in the comments, or anything else that you want to say, and subscribe to my channel so that you can see the next video that I put out. Thanks so much for watching. Be yourself, express yourself. Lots of love.